getting our notifications posted. Okay, so we'll just give it a couple minutes and we'll see who makes it in this morning. Alright, testing microphone levels. Seems pretty good. Alright, make sure you say hello in the chat. If you come in. If you aren't using your school account, make sure that you just list out your name so that you can say good morning and all that, and I can acknowledge your existence. Good morning, Kendra. How are you? Good morning, Samantha. How are you? Mr. Lewis, good morning. I'm doing okay. I am sitting on the floor of my basement, which is where I've been streaming. My children are over there taking a break from virtual school and are laughing at me because I'm sitting on the floor. They can probably hear you laughing at them. Good morning, Brad. Good morning, Owen. Hope you're doing okay. It would be great maybe if you could list out in chat what exactly it is that you're working on this morning. Are you working on First Stone? Which chapter are you working on? Are you working on the ISU? What portion are you working on? Just so I get a sense of what people are seeing as the priority. And then I'll go over on a couple of things that I've added onto the Google Classroom so that you can see sort of what's coming. And this will also give me a sense of who I need to follow up and bug about being more visible. Chapter 11 for Mr. Owen. That's good. All right. Hope you're still enjoying the book. It's definitely got a twist ending once you get there. So I hope that you end up enjoying it.
I think I'm doing this one way quicker.
All right, good. Sam, that's good. And Kendra, that's good.
I have lots of time to put extra information on this. I don't get me either.
All right. So we'll just give it one more minute, see if we have anybody else up here. Obviously, some people might be watching this at a later time, and so I'm not expecting everybody to necessarily be here immediately live. So I will keep an eye on the chat, but once I am scrolling through the website, I cannot see the live chat, so I'll have to come back to it. So if you have any questions or anything, just leave it there, and I will certainly come back to it. Okay. All right. So let me pop over here. So there's nothing new on EDSP other than I posted a couple of chapters of the audiobook yesterday and hopefully it works better. If you're having any technical difficulties around accessing things like the audiobook and stuff like that, just send me a message and I'll try to figure out another way to get the information to you. The PDF of the novel is obviously on there as well if you don't have the book copy. But if you're having any troubles, then I'm more than happy to work through it with you. Okay? So up here in the top, hopefully you can see my cursor, where the meet link is. That's the meeting link that we will gather today at around 1:30, especially to talk about work being submitted and also to make Madame G available in case any of you wish to work with a teacher one-on-one throughout the day. Obviously, if you'd like some one-on-one work with me as well, the best way to do that is to send me an ENG2P message, and we can arrange to have some availability. Obviously, I am assisting my kids with virtual school, and so I can't do it as a full spur-of-the-moment drop-in. I need a little bit of lead time so that I can organize my life around here, but I'm obviously trying to be here for you as much as I can be. So please feel free to send me a message and arrange any appointment that you might need. Okay? So in the classwork section, I've rearranged the days again so that I've been moving the most current day to the top every night. So as you can see, January 6th is now at the top, and I've shifted around and moved a few things in there. People were getting confused as to where to find the chapter questions, and so I did end up attaching them inside the days now, like the specific days. So as you can see in the first stone, chapter 16, 17, 18, that is where they are all located as well. I did leave the other one that existed where it said all previous chapter questions right here, and so on. So they are still floating around out there in sort of big gloms, but there will be each day the assigned work. Okay? So for today, obviously, this is the last day where the only two things on the to-do list are the ISU and the novel study, and that's it. Okay? Starting tomorrow, there's going to be a couple of things that will appear. I have uploaded some of those already, so I'm going to give you a sneak peek today, just so you can take a look. So again, you have your ISU and expectations, just in terms of understanding what it is. You also have your drafting materials here, right? Each one of these items gives you a sense of what exactly the expectations are, the success criteria, and the details around each piece, right? You have your cover, you have your table of contents, you have your feature articles, of which you need to do 3, you have an editor's note, and then you have a how-to article and your advertisement. Okay? So again, if you are sending me draft copies of these, and I have put drop boxes in the classroom for you to submit draft copies to me to get feedback, to improve them, they are now, should be almost, I think, all there, or nearly all there. Okay? So you have your chapters 16 and 7, where did I go? 16 and 17 and 18, right? For each one of these. So as you can see, you've still got your typical same structure where you have 5 or 6 different questions that will again prove that you've done some reading comprehension. We'll focus on the skills around determination to read through a whole book. And I think that that's also something that we are really trying to focus on. This is the stick-to-itiveness of all of this. And you also have 17 and 18 consolidated into one thing. Okay? So fill the space if you can with a couple of sentences. Bullet points are okay. Just make sure that I'm getting them. Okay? And that's really the big piece in all of this, which is I haven't been seeing a lot of work turned in yet. So if you are sitting on a fair number of assignments, if you have chapter questions 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 sitting on your desktop, please send them to me in an ENG2P message or upload them in Google Classroom. Either way, either place you submit them is fine. But most importantly, I just need to get marking because I need to report to the higher ups in the building whether or not we're seeing progress in your credit. And so while I appreciate you guys engaging and participating in these kind of things, overall, I'm still struggling a little bit around getting enough work to get things done. Hold on 1 second. I need to shush my children. Hey, zip it.
No.
You're very nice. Okay, I would just keep it down a little bit. Okay, so when it comes to submitting work, I would really appreciate hearing from everybody at least once a day with something. Even if you are just sending me an Edsby message saying, hey, like Connor McLean yesterday, send me a message saying, hey, I'm working on stuff, I'm here, please mark be present. But there were a number of people that I didn't have any contact with that I would say I could justify saying that they had a productive day. And that's not the way that I want this to run. So if you're sending me a message in the morning that says, this is what I'm working on, this is where I'm at, this is where I might need help, then I can say this student is engaged even though they're not necessarily participating in these sorts of sessions in the same way. So please, please, please make it easy. Send me an Edsby message at least once a day saying, here I am, this is what I'm doing, okay? So those are the two things there. So if I go forward, I know it goes a little funny because it goes 6, 5, 4, and then it goes 7, 8. So these are the days that are in the future. So let me take a pause here and just check what's going on. Hudson, nice to see you. It is not comfortable working on the floor. This is also the bathroom right here. So, thankfully nobody's had to go in and use it while I've been talking. So it hasn't been too dramatic, right? So everything's all good. So, all right. So I don't see anybody else that's joined in yet. So Hudson, hopefully you heard, right? Send me an Edsby message every day. Let me know how it's going with your graffiti project. Let me know how the chapter questions are coming. Just make sure things are trickling in on a regular basis so that I can say that, all's good. Okay. So the 7th and the 8th are when things start expanding outwards in terms of some of the expectations around work. Okay. So as you can see, I've put some rough draft drop boxes. These drop boxes will move as the days move because obviously I want to be able to give you feedback whenever it is that you get it to me. But I would expect that you have at least some portion of your ISU done in a draft format by tomorrow. Even though I put the cover and the how-to article on the 7th, that doesn't necessarily mean that you did it in that order. You may not have done the how-to article and you focused on something else instead first. That's okay. All of the other drop boxes are on future days. Okay? So, but most importantly, even if you send it to me over Edsby and you don't use these drop boxes, that's okay. Just send me a note with, here's what I'm working on for this, here's what I'm working on for that. Rather than doing all the work and then asking for feedback. Ask for feedback in the interim because you have to do 3 feature articles. So if you do 1 feature article and then you send it to me for feedback, I can give you some tips about how to improve it and how to make it better. And then the next 2 will be even better. So try, be smart about how you sort of take the smaller steps. I would obviously be taking us through a more prescriptive sort of step-by-step kind of thing if we were in person. But unfortunately, with being at a distance, this seems to be the most logical way to do it because I know that everybody works at different speeds and everybody has different levels of comfort with technology and not to mention the differing topics. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to get up and say, here's a how-to article when it may look very different project to project to project. So, so send me a draft. Let me give you some personalized feedback on it. And that way, everybody can get a good mark, okay? So, as you can see, the assigned work for First Stone is there. And then we've added in another one, which is a graphic multiple choice assignment. This I will go over in more detail on Friday's YouTube stream. But this is a literacy test related task where it's, if you can do the graphic multiple choice, it's where you're looking at a graphic text, which is a mixture of words and pictures, like a chart or an outline. And then you have 5 or 6 multiple choice questions. Those are the kinds of marks that people wish that they kept when it came to passing the thing. So we're going to go through a practice, all right? And so we're going to go through a sheet together. And because this text alone is like 25 pages. So they're not full pages, but they're 25 different steps that, of information. And then this is one graphic text to look at some questions and then to submit it to me. Okay? So this will be on Fridays. So the extra work, that will be on Thursdays. So that's the extra work for Thursday. And then the extra part on Friday is that we're going to talk about the opinion piece, which is the other longer writing task on the literacy test. You did a news report. Now we're looking at a supported opinion. Okay? So next week, you can see.
Ben! That's dropped on the floor.
Well, somebody just dropped a computer. You okay?
And Holly's mad at me now and she's gonna get frustrated.
It's okay. Don't worry about
I'm
it.
not frustrated.
Okay, so
But Ben, you thought I would just get big feelings?
as you can see, in on the 19th, you have a guys. Remember, I'm on live. Thank you. You can see that this is the final project for First Stone. Okay, it's multi-day. You have 2 pieces. You have a review package, and you also have what is a storyboard assignment. So depending on your comfort level with art or technology or whatever, it's going to be a sort of media assignment. It can be done tangibly on a desk in front of you, and you take a picture of it. It can be done on the computer, and it's basically going to be due by the end of the course. So it's not nearly of the size of, say, the ISU, but it does involve a little bit of things. So if you're interested in looking forward, it is there. There's not going to be too much more added. As you can see, I haven't added anything yet on the 20th, 21st, or 22nd. That's because I need to see how this sort of rolls out before I, end up deploying more in there. We might do one more sort of media task, but we'll see. Okay? All right. So, are there any questions about what is up there right now? If you have joined the chat, I see that we have 9 viewers viewing right now. If you've joined but you haven't typed hello into the chat, please do so that I can note that you've been here for attendance in the morning. Okay? I'll just give it a minute for anybody else to type into the chat.
Hello. I'm saying their name. Ben.
Holly, I'm on live chat. Could you please stop that? Thank you. All right. So, okay. So, hopefully those of you who are new and haven't messaged in the text chat box on the side, you can do so in the next little bit. But overall, I don't want to overload you with what's going on today. Today will be one more day of just trying to get that ISU as much of it done as possible. Send me some draft. Keep working away on the chapter questions, but it's up there on the Google Classroom if you wish to work ahead and take a look at what else is there. If you're keen to just bang this out and get it done, then do so. But overall, most important is that you stay communicative, you ask questions, you reach out for me, you book appointments with me if you need me. You pop in and say hello in the afternoon just to say that you're out there. I am doing attendance twice a day, but overall, if I have a sense that you guys are working through everything because I'm hearing from you on a regular basis, I'm just marking you present. So I'm hoping that, if anybody is friends with or talks with Gamar Blake, you could prompt him to send me an ESV message. I haven't heard from him very much. As well as our friend Jagger. Those are the 2 friends of the class or members of the class that I'm having the hardest time reaching. So hopefully not breaking protocol by asking. Don't worry about, in a pandemic, there's no such thing as late. Just get it in before the course is done, please. What can we do? I mean, Sam, you and I have never actually been in the same room together because of this silly thing. So let's just try to get it done as best we can. And I know that I'm always going to be understanding and that I'm looking for every opportunity to give you marks and credit and respect you guys so much for pushing through despite all of this nonsense, because nobody in this room chose virtual learning. Myself included. I had lots of opportunities to volunteer to go, and I didn't want to do it because I don't feel as if it works well for my style. So we're just going to do the best we can, all things considering. So nobody here has to fret about passing and failing if they're engaging and getting me stuff. As long as you give me information to work with, we can find a way to get that over the pass line. Yeah. Well, and did you switch back because you weren't enjoying it? Oh, well, I guess mom wasn't enjoying it. Well, all I know is that it's hard. I mean, my kids are in grade 4 and grade 2, and it's a totally different experience. And so I definitely never volunteered to teach elementary. And when I do virtual school with my kids, I know why. So, but overall, I'm here for you guys. I want you guys to be successful. And I know you can be as long as you're getting me work and that you're engaging with me. So please make sure you're sending me edge messages once a day, especially if you're not in here. Allison Grace, is that Ali Perry? Good day. It's nice to see you on here. What are you working on this morning? Can you just type in the chat, or what are you working on? Are you working on the ISU? Are you working on the novel study? All right, very good. So please send me a rough draft with whatever it is. If you look in the Google Classroom, there's drop boxes that say rough draft of this and rough draft of that, so that I can give you some feedback around what exactly needs to be tinkered with or changed a little bit to make your mark even higher, okay? Well, thank goodness that you didn't have COVID. I must admit, we had a bit of a family scare. We've had it a couple times, so it's tough. Never one in my household per se. So we all need to be smart about what this is all happening, and hopefully, if everybody does their part, we'll be back to school in a couple weeks, and we can go back to some form of regular. But it's been a weird year. There's no doubt about that. I definitely, because I saw that I got a Facebook notification saying that 1 year ago today, my kids and I were at Great Wolf Lodge. It makes you think about just how much things have changed over the past year. Man, it's just scary to think about how you could, pick up something like a cold and all of a sudden, your oxygen levels are going down and stuff like that. It's pretty freaky. So, but overall, I'm pleased with the fact that everybody here was in here participating. I'm hoping that everybody will make an appearance this afternoon, even just for a couple of minutes, to say, hey, here's what I'm working on, here's how it's going. Please submit chapter questions, right? Like, please keep that stuff coming in, so that I can give you some feedback, show that things are going on, okay? Please continue to prompt your friends in the class, if you talk to them, to attend more regularly. And that way, we can all get our credits and be happy and move on to grade 11 and pretend this never happened. I obviously will continue to have your back and acknowledge you in the hallway, but overall, I think this school year can be over anytime soon, at least operating in this fashion. I think everybody would be quite happy if it went back to completely normal. So, okay, I'm just rambling at this point. If you don't have any other questions, or you don't want me to show you something else, if there's something that you would like me to go through again or show you off the Google Classroom, I'm happy to do so. But otherwise, I will post a link for a Google Meet at about 1:30, and we can reconvene there and talk about how the day has gone. Okay? Don't want to take up too much of your time if you guys are just going to continue to work independently, okay? So otherwise, I'll do this, and I'll just hang out until everybody's gone to give you the opportunity. Yeah, it's totally fine to send it on Edsby rather than Google Classroom. Totally fine. See you later. See you, Miss S. I guess I'm going to have to send some Edsby messages to see where some of my students are. All right. Nobody's in the chat or talking in the chat, so I'm going to say see you this afternoon.